Hey, this is Harrison Whitford, and I'm excited to be here at Fender in Corona talking about the American Ultra Luxe Vintage Stratocasters. I've been playing guitar since I was 12. The thing that I've spent the past 10 years doing the most of is playing with other songwriters, artists like Phoebe Bridgers and Matt Berninger, Noah Gunderson, Role Model, many others. And I would say the role that the guitar plays for me throughout all of that is it's my primary instrument. So it's the thing that I use to communicate ideas in all those different realms. It's just a tool. It's the thing that I have with me all the time that gets me through all those circumstances. To me, the thing that makes a guitar like the Ultra Luxe special is that it's a Fender, you know? Like, you could have some kind of modern boutique instrument that, or other instruments made by other companies that have similar features, but I just feel at home on a Fender. And so to have a guitar that is traditional, but with these appointments, it's what I know, you know, and I think it's what a lot of us know. There's definitely a trust in the feel of a Strat or a Tele for me. Every guitar has its own personality, and you bring your personality to it. In the scenario of doing work that you feel good about, it is important to have a guitar that feels trustworthy. I'm a huge fan of checking. I always love that look on a guitar. I don't know, I've always felt that checking looks kind of elegant, and there's like a wabi-sabi quality to just, it's not quite perfect, and it makes it a beautiful object, and it's really tastefully done here, and you know, the finish looks like a vintage guitar. If we find ourselves above the 12th fret, the tapered neck heel really aids in just sort of getting to these higher position notes, you know. If I want to play a high D flat or something, or some kind of lead or arpeggio up the neck, even if it's not a lead, but just a high part, it's nice to be able to do all that kind of effortlessly. The cool thing with being able to, you know, coil tap it and switch to a single coil is if you're in the middle of a tune that's, you know, you have a rhythm part for the most of the tune, and you have a lot of clarity coming out of this pickup when it's engaged as a humbucker and when it's a single coil. Sometimes there's gigs where I don't show up with a pedal board and I just have an amp. And this would be a scenario where, you know, if you have an amp at the right volume, this basically can become a drive for you, but with tons of clarity. Like, you're not losing tone, but you're gaining that lift that you need sometimes. I would say it has to feel like it's been somewhat played in. Doesn't mean that it has to have been played in, but sometimes a guitar can be set up in a certain way, whether that means the action's in a sweet spot, the right strings, and hardware, like the guitar staying in tune, is obviously really important. And then obviously spending time with an instrument and it kind of molds to you, that crosses that bridge of it becoming, special. First Fender artist that probably really changed my life was Jeff Beck. Just seeing that he could wrangle such otherworldly sounds out of a Strat, that really hooked me on, what could be possible with a solid body electric guitar like a Strat. Always artists that are really stretching the limits of their imagination and using a tool like a Fender guitar to do it with. I feel like the ultra rolled edges just aid in everything feeling smooth. Whatever I go for, there's not a lot of resistance. It's a balancing act, right? Of like the right amount of resistance, not something that's too easy to play, but something that's easy enough so that, I can play without thinking too much. I think the cool thing with the Ultra Luxe Vintage is that it, to me, feels almost like a personally modified guitar, especially with like vintage aesthetic, like the finishes, married with these sort of modern appointments. To me, it feels like if you found some guitar in a pawn shop a long time ago and somebody might have routed some old Strat for a humbucker in the bridge or put locking tuners on it, these things that make it a little bit more reliable as a studio or live instrument, but without compromising, things that make a vintage guitar attractive, like Fiesta Red or any of those like great features that we love. Significance of having a good instrument, and not even just a good instrument, but one that you feel connected to, is so that there's as little resistance as possible between you and getting an idea across, which is why I like, bringing a Strat into the studio, because it's very versatile, something that has a lot of options. I'm always a fan of as little as possible, but enough things to kind of create something larger than all those things on their own.